What's up, everyone? Vincent Janito here. I'm hanging out with Capcom's Peter, ComboFiend Rosas. What's up, Peter?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure. So Peter's in town to do IGN's Grudge Match series with us. But in the meantime, since we got you here, we figured we'd unbox Mad Catz's new FightPad Pro. You're not a pad player, are you? Are you, Peter?
I mean, I've dabbled on them. You know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, on the former consoles, I used to play with pad. So,
okay, that's cool. Well, you know, it's becoming increasingly common. Even a lot of pros like to play with pads now, and it's common for people who play at home who don't feel comfortable with sticks to use these. I know personally, I've actually been a pad player for a long time, and so this is really exciting to me because Mad Catz's FightPad for the 360 and the PS3 kind of got me through that era. I owned lots of those. Been waiting for them to come out with the current gen version. So why don't we open it up and see what it's like?
So, quick question.
Yeah.
Does the pad help with your flow of combos?
It definitely helps with my execution personally. I've always felt like the thumb is a little bit more of a fine motor thing than the wrist is. So I'm a fan. I can do things on pad that most people are like, hey, you can do that on pad? But yeah, you can. No, if you're good, it doesn't matter what you're using, right? You know that.
There you go.
Let's open it up and see what we got. We finally got it out of its steel casing.
Oh, you were working pretty hard there,
man.
Vince.
I was getting a little nervous here under the. Oh, I'm throwing stuff.
I thought that was a 10-0 matchup right there.
So, all right, so here we go. We obviously have the cord. Nothing special really about the cord. Standard USB cord. First thing I notice, very light. Much lighter, I feel like, than the original FightPad. You'll see a few things that differentiate this a lot from the old FightPad. So the old FightPad was your 3-in-3 setup, and then you had just two digital triggers, no analog triggers of any kind. So here we've actually got 4 shoulder buttons. We've got the digital triggers, and then we've got the analog triggers as well, which is interesting. We've never had that on the Mad Catz FightPad before. And then up here, another little interesting feature is we have a switch to change what these shoulder buttons do. So the default setting is for them to be like the standard L1, R1, L2, R2, which is great. But then you can flip it over, and then now that makes it so that these two function as L3 and R3, which you might know as what you click in now. And you know, because you know you're all up there at Capcom, that the training mode in Street Fighter V actually is going to make use of the L3 and R3 buttons as like shortcuts to like change where your guy can stand. We saw some of that stuff in the beta of the training mode. So if we were using an old FightPad, like we wouldn't be able to access those functions.
Definitely.
But because we got this little function, we kind of have like a fake L3 and R3 button. We can
just move around the screen a bit faster. Right?
Yeah, exactly, which is nice, and use those shortcuts and for the recording and all the other stuff that you like to do in training mode. So moving on, another really big difference between the old FightPad and this one is that it has an analog stick, which the other one absolutely did not have. So me personally, I stick exclusively to the actual D-pad when I use a FightPad, but there are some people who I've run into, as strange as it might sound, who actually love rocking the analog.
Oh no, I've seen it. You know, when I've traveled to some of the Latin American countries, the players there using pads, because a lot of them actually use pads.
Sure.
Yeah, they were using the analog, and they weren't using the D-pad, and I thought that was so different.
And then lastly, down here on the bottom, we got Start and Select, which are now kind of a little more out of the way, which I like. We also have little toggles down here to switch between left stick and right stick. So if you want, you can actually make this act like the right stick instead of a left stick. And then of course, like we did, now we have the functionality of switching between PS3 and PS4 systems. And of course, that's the big deal, because if you're like me, you've got a whole pile of these things from PS3, and you know you're not able to use them for your PS4. Now this is a pad that'll work on both systems.
Awesome.
Which is pretty sweet. What do you think of this? I know that you're usually a stick guy, but like any like quick thoughts on the new FightPad Pro?
Well, what's really interesting to me is actually the right side, where you know, if you look at the controller, the way it's designed, your hand, the way it would sit here, it's pretty comfortable the way it rests. But then if you wanted to claw it.
Oh, that's right.
Because some people, you know, they actually play like this.
Sure.
So they can hit multiple buttons at the same time rather than just with their thumbs. And I feel like the way that this is designed, by giving a little bit more room on the right side where the buttons are, it's just that it allows you to play both styles, which is actually pretty interesting.
That is actually really interesting. I hadn't thought about that because I don't claw it. I actually like for for pressing 2 buttons at once. You should do this or this or this or this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of people claw, and you're right. All this extra real estate. It's a lot less. These buttons are not as close together as they are on some of the other fight pads.
Definitely. For a lot of the people who actually play with stick and they have to play with pad sometimes, yeah, a lot of them use the claw method versus just pushing buttons.
Because it's in their muscle memory.
Exactly, exactly.
Awesome. Well, Peter, thank you for that insight. I wouldn't have thought of that since I'm predominantly a pad player. And I just want to say thank you for coming through, and good luck on IGN Grudge Match. Go out there, knock him dead.
Haha. You already know what's going to happen.
I sure do. And for more on Mad Catz products and on Street Fighter V, keep it right here on IGN.